Hi, I'm Kim and you're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Before I get going with this video, I just want to take a moment to thank our friend Sherry very much for your donation to our channel's PayPal account. Thank you for your continued support, Sherry. Over and over again, I've received emails from friends here at the channel, and thank you guys so much for continuing to email me and share your stories with me. So many emails outline the nightmare, how horrible it is, how you're living on eggshells, how you've just got to figure out how to get out of there. And then in the next paragraph, but I love the narc. I love the narc so much. And I most certainly did feel this way. I truly did believe I was in love with Trevor. And it is this love that we believe we're feeling for the narcs that I want to talk about today. Now, not only did I feel like I was in love, I felt like I was in the greatest, most epic love of my life. Like Trevor was my twin flame, my soulmate. I mean, absolutely the love of my life. And I did believe that. Now, in light of the recent emails that I've received stating that you recognize it's bad, but you are still feeling this love for the narc, it really got me back in those shoes, really got me thinking about that and how I too did believe that, particularly in that 5-year period of time that I was with Trevor. Some horrendous thing would happen, I would leave, and it was this lingering feeling of love, also called a soul tie or trauma-bound sort of attachment to the narc. But I definitely believed it was love. And that's why I would leave the portal to hell open. I would leave communication open. As soon as he would contact me, I'd very quickly reply and think, oh, this time, you know, it's going to be different. He's probably sorry. Maybe something's changed. But it was this feeling of love that kept me hanging on, going back, and just continuing to beat myself up and create an environment for him to beat me up. It was love. At least I thought that's what it was. So, okay, I get a whole bunch of emails in a short period of time claiming, you know what the problem is, but you're madly in love. And I'm sitting here thinking, damn it, I felt the exact same way. So I decided to do some research on this, and I Google search, what is love? Now, the second I typed that in, I felt like a complete idiot because I guess I really couldn't describe what the word means. So I was looking for help. And the first thing I found when I Google searched what is love was very interesting. It was not the definition of love, but it was the fact that the question, what is love, has been Google searched a billion times. It is the #1 most Google search question the world over. So I felt a lot smarter instantly because I thought, shit, not only do I not know what it means, no one knows what it means, therefore it is the most Googled question. Okay, so the fact that it is the #1 most Googled question certainly tells me that a lot of people are not clear on what love is. So I do a little more research, I read some stuff about love having some association with reproduction. Now, I'm going to tell you, dating back to cavemen days, I don't know that love really played any role whatsoever in reproduction. I'm sure the naked cave woman bent over at the river gathering water was the one who, well, reproduced. I don't know if love played any role in, really early human interaction. And I think we'd agree that loads of people reproduce who are not in love at all. In fact, some people reproduce to try and create love in a relationship or to try and strengthen an already weakened relationship. And I'm 57 years old, I got 5 kids, I got 1 grandchild and another one on the way, and reproduction is just simply, no, not even close. So the other option was, well, another suggestion regarding love was this social stigma. Oh, look at the happy neighbors across the street. They look like a happy couple. I want some of that action. I want to be part of a happy couple too, sort of a do what the Joneses are doing sort of thing, and that made no sense to me at all. I would anticipate that love had a stronger, more personal sort of meaning. And of course, the Webster's dictionary definition of what is love is, well, very simple and not very explorative, just pretty cut and dry, a strong feeling of affection for someone. And that just felt very, very vague. Now, I'll tell you, this turned into days of research. And I did resort to some of the top experts in the world on this subject. And what I've actually discovered about love is good news for all of us. As it turns out, there is no mold that question can fit into. There is no prepackaged answer to that question. As it turns out, the answer to that question is 100% subjective. What is love will be different for me than it will be for you. So I started to think about that. And I started to, well, first of all, think about it as free from the narc abuse as I could get, like just in a really kind of calm and peaceful place of me thinking about what love means to me. And well, I came up with all kinds of words: security, safety, stability, support, nurturing, fostering, friendship, trust. I mean, all of these types of words are coming to mind, and I'm thinking, okay, if it's subjective, I get to form my own opinion of what love is. We each get to develop our own understanding of the meaning of the word love. The fact that developing an understanding of love can be completely subjective to each individual was really, really empowering to me. I don't feel like I have to have my idea of a romantic relationship fit any particular mold. I get to make the mold, and I get to establish for myself what love is to me, what love should look like, what love should feel like. And I'm coming up with all kinds of scenarios and ideas and feelings about what I would like love to look like in my life. So as I'm forming my own opinion about love, I very quickly realized that what I had going on with Trevor was not love, according to my own subjective ideas about what love is. And I think this can really help each of us to determine, are you in love? Because if you're sitting there and love is subjective and you decide that love is kind, it's friendly, it's warm, it's fuzzy, it's supportive, it's nurturing, and that's not what you've got, well, maybe you're not in love at all. Now, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I 100% believe these creatures to be demonically possessed. Absolutely 100%. I also believe that they have an ability to put some witchcraft, voodoo, mind control on us that causes an illusion of love. Now, with that said, if they are able to control our minds, to manipulate us, and I'm here to tell you, I know I was in a trance when I felt like I was in love with Trevor. I know I was in a trance because I know the moment the trance broke. I know when the spell lifted and I was free of it. And that's what it felt like. It felt like I had just been let out of some kind of mind cage, and all of a sudden I could see it clearly, and it was like, whoa, where have I been? Like, what the hell just happened? And I know many of you have had that feeling too. Okay, so back to this love thing. Now, when you're looking at it, when you recognize that there's something horribly wrong in the relationship, there's something gravely wrong with your partner, whether you believe they're demon possessed or not, you know there's something wrong. And you're now able to form your own subjective idea about what love really is. Now, think about that for a minute. Now, what type of words would you use to describe your subjective understanding of the word love? Now, you're not going to come up with words like fear, terror, shame, humiliation. You're not incorporating thoughts of your hair falling out in clumps, right? Because nothing says love like female baldness. You're not incorporating ideas of nosebleeds and shaky hands and night terrors and freaking out and crying and screaming and not knowing which fucking end is up and living on eggshells for years and years on end. None of this is going to fit your subjective idea about love, because I'm here to tell you it wouldn't fit any of mine. So when I was sitting thinking about this and thinking about the emotions, the feelings, the stress, the anxiety, the panic, the fear, the holy fuck, what is happening here, that was happening in my life, I could not make any of that work in my subjective idea of what love is. So if that's how I was feeling, if that's what it was, why did I mistake that for love? Like, what the hell happened to me that I could have ever been mind controlled, manipulated to the point that I would believe that the most disgusting, odious, horrible, most rotten emotions available to human beings, all of that stuff that was happening to me was somehow love. Frustrating, like really frustrating, because honestly, for 5 years in that state of absolute yuck, I believed it was love. And that's why I'm going to state one more time, I truly believe it's some form of witchcraft, some type of spell, some type of demonic possession. Because truly sane, creative, enlightened, critically thinking empaths do not make a mistake like that, because that's a pretty big fucking mistake. Like, when I was sitting thinking about that, I was thinking, damn it, Kim, that's a pretty big fucking big mistake. Like, how the fuck do you make a mistake like that? How do you take the worst emotions, the worst feelings, the worst experiences, the shame, the humiliation? I mean, I was inflicting myself with absolute self-hatred. I couldn't understand how I'd become such a fuck up in life, why I couldn't do anything right. How did any of that look like love to me? Because that is the worst, the darkest side of humanity, the darkest side of our emotions. And there I was, believing that stuff to be love. But now, free of it, able to form my own subjective opinion of what love is, clearly none of that is love. So I'm going to say I was not in love with Trevor. I was under some sort of hypnotic state. Even once I left and I had that incredible, overwhelming feeling of just despair and, oh my God, I was ruined. My life was ruined. Nothing was going to be the same. How will I ever, function normally again? Like all of that. And wow, did I have it. It was, in my opinion, at the time, a loss of love. But none of it was love. I don't believe that I was in love with Trevor. And if you have all kinds of bad and negative and dark emotions going on in your life, you need to stop and you need to reassess and you need to ask yourself, do these emotions really fit your subjective idea of what love is? One more thing that I think is important to add is we've all, most of us, have had the feeling that we met the perfect person, something shifted, and we were then looking at this new person, trying to find the person we fell in love with in them. And man, do I know this one. I used to say to Trevor with this horrid, angry, scowling, hate-filled look on his face. I mean, the man looked like he would have just, laser beamed me into flames, like absolute hatred coming from him. And I would say to him, I know you're in there somewhere. I know you're in there somewhere. You've got to be in there somewhere. Where is that man I fell in love with? And I do believe in many ways I was chasing this man that I fell in love with, believing that the man I was now looking at was the illusion And the original man that I had fallen in love with was the real man. Well, it's the opposite. And I think most of us understand that now. I am 100% clear on that. The man I believed I fell in love with was the fraud, was the illusion, was the fake self, was a mirrored image of me. The person that I was begging and pleading with, the person that I was, saying, I know you're in there somewhere, please come out. That person, that gelatinous blob of yuck that I was pleading with was the real Trevor. That's who the real Trevor was. And in my confusion, I couldn't see that at all. I believed that Trevor, as I understood him, had possibly been created as a product of my inability to love him properly. He certainly said that a lot. His angry, horrible, rotten, ghosting, shaming, gaslighting disposition was the product of all of my shortcomings, when really that was the real Trevor. That horrible person you're looking at, that's the real dude that you believe you're in love with. That other guy that you're chasing, that other guy that you're longing for, that other guy that you miss so much, or woman, that person doesn't exist. That person never existed. That was a trap. And you fell into that trap, and what you very quickly were introduced to was the real person. And when you start to put all these puzzle pieces together, and you realize that what you're feeling is not love, the person that you're looking for doesn't exist, you really got to stop and ask yourself, is this really love? Because if it isn't love, for God's sakes, let it go. And that is such a stumbling block for so many people. When you believe it's love, it's hard to let go because you believe there's some morality, some integrity, some higher ground in saving, preserving, helping, love. But come on, guys. Is this love? I know in my case, that's just simply not love. That was not love. Every subjective idea that I have about love, it is the exact polar opposite of that. It wasn't love. Anyways, I just wanted to share these findings with you guys. Thank you so much for your emails. Your emails always trigger a really interesting direction for me to rush off and research, and I really appreciate it. And I'm telling you, every time something like this comes up, I feel a mile farther away from it. I feel so much freer. Like the weight just keeps getting lifted off my shoulders. I didn't lose anything. I didn't give anything up. There was nothing there. And hanging on to nothing just ceases to make sense. And it will for you too if you're still struggling with it today. If you're feeling like you're missing your narc, if you're feeling like you're still in love with your narc, sit down and form your own subjective opinion of what love really is. Anyways, guys, I love you lots. I've missed you, and my life has just settled down really, really great. In the time Jacob was in the hospital, I really did try to stay busy and not wallow in that misery. That's one thing being a victim of narcissistic abuse showed me, is that there is a muddied up puddle of misery that you can wallow in if you allow yourself to. And yeah, I don't do that anymore. So I got to a lot of decorating around the house. I've been very busy with jewelry. I've got a new little pet that I'm going to introduce you guys to soon. And yeah, I just had to work my way through it. And thank you so much for all your tips and suggestions and great emails. And I'm feeling 1,000% better. But be warned, adrenal fatigue is real. And when you have suffered an extreme trauma, it will re-trigger, and there's no avoiding it. I guess we can put practices and measures in place, but you know what? Life is full of surprises and things come up. Anyways, I just wanted to share this with you guys, and I hope it helps if you're feeling love-bound to a narc today. I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV, and I hope you're having a great narc-free day.